Hello, dear learner. You are welcome to this English language lesson on reading. It is a lesson which will focus on reasons why we read and some tips how to read. My dear friend, it is very important to read because when you read, you widen your scope of understanding, you gain more knowledge, and you are very smart. It makes you also more intelligent. So you should be very attentive and follow up. And I hope that you have your exercise book and your pen ready to note important points or do some exercises. If you are ready, let us start with a revision exercise. Here are some words. Read them aloud. Here are some words. Read them aloud. You read as they appear. Can we read them together? Let us try reading them together. Vote, name, anger, festival, despise, detest, trustworthy, beautiful, attractive, prehistoric, clamorous, boisterous. Did you read them correctly? Let's check the pronunciation of these words again. Vote, name, anger, festival, despise, detest, trustworthy, beautiful, attractive, prehistoric, glamorous, boisterous. Did you get the last two? Clamorous, boisterous. That's good. With more practice, you are going to learn how to pronounce words and articulate them correctly. Now, by the end of this lesson, you are expected to do some tasks. Here they are. By the end of this lesson, you will state different reasons why we read. State in one sentence a technique that can be used to recall ideas in a paragraph. State two techniques or styles of reading. You will state different reasons why we read. You will state some techniques that we can use to recall ideas in a paragraph. You will also state two techniques or styles of reading. I hope that you are excited. If yes, let's move on. So, reflect on these questions. 1. Why do we read? Why? Why do we read books? Why do we read? Why do people read? Number 2. What are some advantages of reading? What are some advantages of reading widely? How can reading widely help you? What should we bear in mind when reading? What are the things we should bear in mind when reading? And list some techniques of reading. These are questions that you are reflecting on. And they are the answers to these questions that we are going to find in the lesson ahead. I hope you are excited because I am, and I am ready to go through the lesson. I hope you too. Let's move on. So, why do we read? Think. Different reasons why you read. Okay, I can see people thinking. You read because the teacher has asked you to read. You read to do your assignment. Why do you read a story book that nobody has asked you to read? Good. There are different reasons why people read. Let us check some of them. We read because we want to learn. We read because we want to learn. So we read to learn. Good. We read to be entertained. Oh, you read a nice story. Cinderella and her sisters. You have Peter Pan and the fairies. You have the stories of Barbie. You have comic stories of Tom and Jerry. You can read these things to entertain yourself. We have also another reason why we read. We read to further our understanding of something. When we want to understand something better, we read about it. For example, we want to study about space. We want to know what actually happens in the universe. We read books. What actually happens with life under the sea? We read books. We can read books to understand something better. You can also read books to understand how to solve mathematics, how to do chemical combinations or different things that you want to know. You can read a book on how to make a cake or how to cook other items. We also read to gain a deeper understanding of the text. Yes, you read for comprehension. You read to expand your vocabulary. When you read, you acquire new words. You come across new words and see how these new words are used in context. Then you build your vocabulary, and you know that when you have a good mastery of many English words, you'll be able to speak the English language fluently and correctly. You also read to improve on your writing skills. That is, when you have read what other people have written, you expand your vocabulary, you have learned and got a deeper understanding of what is written. When you are writing, you can also produce good text. So you can also be a good writer when you are a good reader. So dear friends, there are many other reasons why we read, but here I have just presented a few of them. That is, we read so as to learn, to be entertained, to further our understanding of something, to gain a deeper understanding of the text, to expand our vocabulary, and to improve on our writing skills. Now, what are some advantages of reading? When we read, what do we gain? Yes, children who read often and widely get better at it. When you read often, you get better. That means you improve on the way you read. That is one advantage. Reading exercises our brains and make you more intelligent. When you read, you exercise your brain and you become more intelligent. Reading improves concentration and accuracy in responses. Yes, when you read widely, you understand, you have a deeper understanding, you comprehend, and when you are asked questions based on the text you have read, you can respond promptly with accurate answers. Reading teaches you about the world around you. Yes, when you read widely, you understand the environment in which you live and you can better adapt. Reading improves vocabulary and language skills. This means that when you read widely, you see how words are used in context, you understand the meaning of words, and you can communicate, or you can use these words in everyday communication correctly. Reading develops your imagination and creativity. Yes, when you read about fairy tales, Peter Pan and the fairies, you read about life under the ocean, you read about life in space, you read about life in other countries. Your imagination is broadened and you become creative. You can also write your own imaginative stories. You can create your own story after you must have read other books. Reading enables you to understand others. Yes, when you read books, you get to understand why other people behave the way they are, why they are different from you, and why certain things exist. So, from this knowledge that you gather from reading, you are able to understand other people and you can live harmoniously with them. Reading improves empathy and feelings for others. Yes, when you read books, you will understand why some people behave the way they are and you can feel for them. So reading improves on your empathy and feelings for others. Dear friends, there are many other advantages of reading, but here are the few that we are going to concentrate on in this lesson. I hope you are following on, my dear friends. Do you usually like to read? I hope that seeing these advantages of reading, you like to read a book. Like when you read a magazine, you read a newspaper, you read your textbooks given in school, and you even read on the internet. Dear friends, we move ahead. So, what are the things to do for a successful reading? What are the things you should note? Pay attention to the title of the text or the book. When you want to read something, you must know the heading of what you are reading. What are you reading about? Is it about an adventurous story? Is it about some science or fiction? Is it about some humanities? Or what are you reading about? You must know the title of what you are reading. Number 2, you highlight important points or phrases or sentences in that text you are reading. You can use, if it is your personal book, you can use a bookmarker to highlight important points. When you get across important points, you can mark them. But if it is not your personal book, you can write on another piece of paper. You write in another book. You take notes, important points. You jot points in another book, like your exercise book. Remember that your textbook for class can also be used by another person, so it's not good to underline things inside. But if it's your personal novel that you are reading, you can highlight points inside with a book marker. Note that authors or writers treat one main idea per paragraph. In each paragraph, you should bring out the central idea. What is it that is found in the paragraph? Each paragraph treats one main idea. Take note. Write down some key points and the lessons you've learned from the story. When you read something, don't just read and pass over. What is it that you have learned from the text you read? Is it a moral lesson? Is it new vocabulary? Is it a new discovery? Or what have you learned? You must note it down. And finally, use a dictionary to look up for the meaning of new words. When you come across words that are difficult in a text, you can use a dictionary to understand the meanings of these words. This is, however, if you are not able to deduce their meaning by looking at other words that were found in the paragraph or in the sentence, because other words in a sentence can tell you the meaning of a particular word, but the dictionary is always there to help you understand the meaning of new words. I hope you are following up very well, my dear friends. What are some of the techniques that we use in reading? Reading is a great habit that can change human life significantly. Yes, when you read, you can change the world because you will be knowledgeable. The following are 5 styles or techniques of reading used in different situations. Let's look at them. We have scanning. Scanning. Can you repeat that after the teacher? Scanning. Good. Skimming. Skimming. Active reading. Detailed reading. Speed reading. These are different techniques used in reading. We'll repeat them again. Scanning. Skimming. Active reading. Detailed reading. Speed reading. What therefore is scanning? Scanning through the text is a reading strategy that is used for getting some specific points by looking at the whole text. You look through it, you scan. It means you go through it without paying attention to details. You want to get the general idea that is in the text. This technique is used for looking up a name from the telephone directory. For example, if you want to have the telephone number of a company in your locality, you can go through the telephone directory quickly looking for that particular. Your focus is just on one thing that you are looking for. We have the reading technique skimming. Skimming is used for getting the gist of the whole text. The gist, that means the salient point, that is the core. What is it that the text is all about? Here, we read quickly to get the main points and skip over details. You are not looking for details when you are doing a skimming exercise. When you are reading by skimming, you go through the text quickly. You can use this technique at the time of reading a newspaper or a magazine. When you have a magazine, you can quickly go through parts of the magazine to see important points, things that will hold your interest. The next technique of reading is active reading style. Here, the aim of active reading is to get an in-depth understanding of the text. You understand each word. Under this technique, the reader is actively involved with the text while reading it. You want to know the details of each word, the meaning of each word in context. You deduce meaning of words from other words in the text. Now, what is another reading method? We have detailed reading. This is used for extraction of accurate information. Accurate means you want to get the correct information, the exact information. That is why you do a detailed reading. You look at words, their meaning, their spelling, and how they are used in context, and what is the relationship between the sentences or the ideas. So you do detailed reading. You read every word to understand the text completely. You can skim through the text first, then you go back to do reading in details. You first skim through the text quickly, get the general idea, then you come back to read detailedly. You can use a dictionary to find the meaning of every unfamiliar word because you want to understand every detail found in the text. I hope you are following. And now the last one is speed reading. Speed reading is actually a combination of various reading methods. You skim, you scan, you read for details, but you go quickly. The aim of speed reading is basically to increase the reading speed without compromising the understanding of the text you are reading. You read with speed, but making sure that you understand. Identify words without focusing on each letter, and you spend less time on some phrases than others. Skimming small sections of your text. Dear friend, I hope you are enjoying and following. Now, here is time for you to do an exercise to prove that you have been following. The first one, answer the following question. State 3 reasons why we read. List 3 advantages why we read. Number 3, state 3 points to bear in mind when reading. And number 4, list 3 techniques or styles of reading. You pause the video for 1 minute and do the exercise before you come back to continue. Good job. Your 1 minute is over, and now we have to compare our answers. Number 1, why do we read? We read because we want to learn, to be entertained, to further our understanding of something, to gain a deeper understanding of a text, to expand our vocabulary, to improve on our own writing skills. I hope you wrote some of these. A tick for each of the points you have got correctly. Give yourself a tick. Number 2, what are some advantages of reading? Some advantages of reading include reading exercises our brains and makes you more intelligent. Reading improves concentration and accuracy in responses. Reading teaches you about the world around you. Reading improves vocabulary and language skills. Reading develops your imagination and creativity. And reading enables you to understand others. Reading improves your empathy and feeling for others. When you read, you can actually understand people improve your vocabulary, understand your environment, and you feel for others. I hope you listed some of these points. Thumbs up for a job well done. We move ahead. So, what are the points to bear in mind when reading? 1. Pay attention to the title of the textbook or the text you are reading. Highlight important points, phrases, or sentences on condition that it is your personal book. But if it's borrowed from the library or from a friend, you should make sure that you write your important points in another exercise book. Note that the authors or writers usually treat only one main idea in a paragraph. Write down some key points and the lessons you have learned from the text you read. Use a dictionary to look up for the meaning of new words. And what are some techniques of reading? We have scanning, skimming, active reading, detailed reading, speed reading. I hope you got this one correctly. That's good. So, dear friends, I'm very happy that you have been very active in the lesson. And before you go, you should remember that in this lesson, you've learned that we can read for entertainment, understanding, or to learn. Reading widely makes you smarter and more intelligent. When reading, do the following. Highlight or write the important points, phrases, or sentences. Use a dictionary to look up for the meaning of difficult words. Some techniques of reading include scanning, skimming, active reading, detailed reading, and speed reading. My dear friends, I am very happy that I met you in this lesson and you are very active. You'll do more practice by reading through your print lessons or listening to the audio lessons found on this same platform and going over this lesson again. Do more independent practice so that you can improve on your reading skills in the English language. I would like to meet you in the next lesson. Please come along with your exercise book and your pen. And until then, my dear friends, goodbye.